SQL Server 2017 installation step by step. SQL Server supports two types of installations: standalone and the cluster based. First we have to check some of the checks has to be done before installing the SQL Server. Checking the RDP access for the server, check the OS bit whether it is a 32-bit or a 62-bit, whether it has a correct IP, a valid IP address, and the domain of the server is also there or not. Check if your account is in the admin group to run the setup.exe file and the software location where the ISO files are there. And the requirements, mm, we have to decide which version of the SQL Server has to be installed and the edition, and what is the service pack has to be installed after installing the SQL Server, and also we have to decide if any hotfix has to be installed. And for this, we should have some service accounts for the database engine, agent, analysis services, integration services, and reporting services. Whenever we install a SQL Server, we should have a service account. With the help of the service account only, we will be installing it so that it will be a complete one. And we have to decide whether it is a named instance or a default instance, location of the binary files, systems, and the user databases where these has to be stored. That is, the binaries should be stored in OneDrive, the system and system databases should be in separate drive, user databases should be in a separate drive. We will see in the future installation that how we segregate all these things while installing, and the type of the authentication mode we will be using for the installation, and the collation setting which is the which is used for the installation, and that will be the same after the installation for all the databases whichever we create. It should be following the same collation setting. And the list of the features, we will be having the SQL Server database engine services, analysis services, integration services, reporting services. But for now, we are only installing the database engine services. Prerequisites for the 2005 setup support files. We should have a .NET Framework 2.0 must for this installation and the SQL Server native client. Prerequisites for the 2008 and 2002. We should have the setup support files, .NET Framework 3.5, SP1, and SQL Server native client, and Windows Installer 4.5 or the later version. Prerequisites for the 2012 and 14. Setup support files, .NET Framework 5.4.0, which is the latest one, which should be used for the 2000 and 2014. And SQL Server native client, Windows Installer 4.5 or the later version, and the Windows PowerShell 2.0. These are the prerequisites which has to be there or installed before for the future installation of the SQL Server 2017. Now we'll start the installation process of the SQL Server. Step 1, download the setup file after we have purchased it from the Microsoft site, from the site from the Microsoft site, or we can download the evaluation version from the link. And once the software is downloaded, the following files will be available based on your download. This is the ISO file which will be used, and this is the SSDT. This is for the analysis services, integration services, and the reporting services. And this is for the SQL Server Management Studio setup, client setup, where we have to connect to the SQL Server with the help of this SSMS SQL Server Management Studio. Step 2. Now right click on the SQL Server 2017 ISO file and click on the mount. After mounting the ISO file to the server, we will be able to see a new virtual drive has been created on the server with the DVD drive E as per the drives in the server created. Now we have to open the setup drive E. The above picture shows all the setup files under the E drive, and now we have to start the installation process. Step 3. Now we have to right click on the setup file and click on the run as administrator as shown in the below figure. As shown in the picture, we have to click on the run as administrator, so the installation will not be, we will not face any problems while installation. Some of the times we may face some issues while installation that because of the permissions issue, the installation may be cancelled. So by clicking on this run as administrator, there will be no issues while installing. Step 4. Right click on the SQL Server setup, run as administrator. The below screen is opened. Click on the installation in the left hand side. In the below screen, click on the new SQL Server standalone uh, standalone installation link. This is the link which we have to click on it. Click on this. Now step 6. In the below screen we have to enter the product key which comes to us while we buy it from the Microsoft side, and the same has to be entered into the desired box, or else while installation we can use the specify a free edition. We can also choose the specify the free edition, that is we can use the evaluation version, and the evaluation version will be we can work on it for the 180 days, and click on next. In the below screen, click on the I accept the license terms checkbox and click on the next button. Eighth step. Here the below screen consists of some of the checks which will be performed before the installation step. These all are passed, and this is the default one which comes every time, and click on the next button. Step 9. The below screen consists of the sequence of features selection for the installation. Here we are selecting only the SQL Server related options for the database engine services to be installed on the machine. We also have to change the instance root directory path to eProgram files, Microsoft SQL Server, and the same path will be used for the system databases also. Using these system databases, Using this, the system databases will be segregated from the user databases and placed in a separate drive. Click on the next. Here this is the instant root directory. We are choosing to E drive. Click on the next. Step 10. The below screen consists of the instance name, that is we can choose the default instance name that will be like if we have the server name as host name. The instance will be as hostname slash MS SQL Server. If we have selected the named instance, then the instance name will be like GOWOSERVMD01. Then we have to write on this instance ID, and we can edit this text and click on the next. Step 11. In the below screen, we have to change the SQL Server agent service startup type to automatic, as startup type will be manual by default and the rest of the options has to be left as it is, no changes required. We have to click on the checkbox grant perform volume maintenance task privilege to the SQL Server database engine service. By using this, we are enabling the instant file initialization by avoiding the zeroing of data pages, and for enabling, if we have not checked the checkbox, then also we can enable it. For that, we have a video in my list of the videos, that is the instant file initialization. You can check that video. I will keep the link in the description box for your future purpose. Click on the next. Step 12. In the below screen, we have to add the current user who is installing the SQL Server on the machine, or we can we can add a service account for the installation process, and the SQL Server instance will be running the services with the same username on the machine. We have to get a SQL Server system administrator password which is used in future for giving the access to the other users. Here we have to click on the add current user, or we can click on the add button. Then we have to give the service account details here that will be added to it, and after that we have to click on the data directories tab. In the below screen we have to set the directories for the user databases and the system databases. The below screen, the system databases are stored in the E program files, Microsoft SQL Server, MS SQL 14, MS SQL data, and this is the where the system databases will be stored in this path. And user databases we are storing in the f/data. User database log directory we are storing it in the g/log. So the backup we have mentioned a separate drive b backup. Now we have to click on the tempdb tab. In the below screen we have to place the tempdb files on the separate directory. All the files, all the values in the screen will be auto-populated according to the system configuration. We have to just change only the data directory and the log directory path so that the tempdb data files will be placed on the drives which we have selected. For the data directory, we have to use the t/data and the log directory is t/log. In the figure, we have selected the E drive and click on the next. The below screen consists of all the features which have selected during the installation process. Once we have to verify it and click on the install. The SQL Server installation process will be started and it completes the installation, and then after that machine has to be restarted for the changes to get affected. And after that, this is the machine. Here the pop-up comes saying that computer restart required. Click on OK. The machine will be restarted. Once the SQL Server is installed, we must install SSMS Studio by right-clicking on the setup file and run as administrator. Click on the install button. Once the installation is completed, the system must be restarted for the changes to get effected on the machine. Once SQL Server is installed, we have to connect to the SQL Server instance and check the connectivity to the instance. We have to change the port number to 2524 or 2525 for the SQL Server instance by going to the SQL Server Configuration Manager. SQL Server Configuration Manager, and this is by using the SQL Server Configuration Manager start. In that, if we click on the start and type SQL Server Configuration Manager, then it will be showing a SQL Server Configuration Manager with this icon. We have to click on it, then this box will be displayed. Accessing SQL Server Configuration Manager. Take the following steps to access the SQL Server Configuration Manager. Click Start, All Programs, SQL Server 2012, and select Configuration Tools. Select SQL Server Configuration Tools. Select SQL Server Configuration Manager. Take the following steps to access the SQL Server Configuration Manager by the Computer Manager. Click the Windows key, press R to open the Run window. Type comp management.msc in the open box. Click OK. Expand Services and Applications and expand SQL Server Configuration Manager. Once the GUI is launched, we have to expand the SQL Server Network Configuration node and select the item related to the protocols corresponding to the SQL Server instance that we want to configure. In the example above, there are two instances installed on the machine on the system called MS SQL Server and 2016 respectively. Once done, we need to double click on the right click properties in the protocol. Note that we want to modify the necessary from the list shown in the right part of the screen in our TCP or IP. This will allow us to access the protocol configuration panel where we will be able to configure various parameters such as the keep alive duration in milliseconds. And this keep alive is 30,000 that it has given. In order to change the TCP port, navigate to the IP addresses tab and change the following parameter for each of the available IP. TCP dynamic ports, leave the field blank. If there is a 0, remove it. TCP port, the desired TCP port, for example 1435. Port number we have to give is 2524 or 2525. Now this is where we have given the sample IP is 1435 and 435. For all the values it has to be changed. And this completes the installation of SQL Server and changing the port number for the SQL Server instance. Thank you. Thank you.